Hello, Ambassadors Committee. I'm sorry I'm not with you today, but we joined here together to celebrate not only what's going on in the community, but our continuing holding of the traveling trophy for being the champion last year of the Chamber Square Off at the Hamilton Joe's. That's a joke. I want to give you a little report because I know you're waiting to see. I can be here today. You want to know what's going on in the community and going on in the chamber, and I will give you that report. Unfortunately, I'm not with you because I'm out meeting with a business and a new company or a new executive in town trying to get them acclimated to Hamilton. I want to start first of all by saying we are still pursuing as a staff writing out our entire strategic plan and focusing on membership growth, retention, business advocacy, and assisting with economic development. So what are some of the other things going on right now at the chamber? One of the big things that was reported on in the newspaper this past week and this past Sunday is Skills Central. I hope you saw that in the newspaper. Perhaps there'll be a handout here for you to take a look at what the article had to say. Skills Central really is a initiative of the Chamber, the Community Foundation, and Ohio Means Jobs to help people that have a skills gap gain the skills that they need to get the jobs that are out there. And we've already started. We put out a article. We're getting calls. We're doing case management. Those calls are actually going to Joel Fink, who's our coordinator for this program. And really, it's workforce development. Nothing's more important when I talk to businesses than finding and keeping qualified employees. Skills Central, you'll hear more about that. Microloans, we still have money available for microloans. I would encourage you, if you know somebody that fits the criteria we're looking for in a microloan and they need some money to help start a business, have them get in touch with me. Another interesting thing that we're looking at right now at the Chamber is a private health insurance exchange to the Ohio Chamber of Commerce. We're not ready to pull the trigger on that yet, but there are a lot of exchanges out there right now. One of our ambassadors, Terry Weekly, I've talked to about this, and it's something we continue to study. It may be another tool for us to offer to our members to help navigate the complicated health insurance field these days. So let's talk a little bit about the community and what's going on in the community right now. I think the biggest thing you're going to notice here starting about June 23rd is some major construction on the East High Corridor. And what you're going to see is the traffic going down to one lane each direction. We know that's going to be disruptive. It's going to be disruptive for businesses and residents, government workers, everybody. What we have to keep in mind is that the end result is going to be good. And we've tried to encourage the city to come up with a rendering of what it's going to look like when it's done so people understand why there's so much pain. But I suggest you go out to the city's website, go to our website. We'll be referring to the latest information we have about the East High Corridor in relation to construction schedule, in relation to detours, because there'll be times where you don't want to go down East High Street. It'll be very congested. There will be some times in the evening when it's actually down to one lane with a flagger. And I don't have the details on that yet, but stay tuned. We'll get that out as soon as possible. That's going to be probably the biggest construction project that's going to affect most people this summer, lasting 12 to 15 months. So it's going to be a major construction project. South Hamilton Crossing continues to move forward. The TID just submitted an application for funding. We'll see how that goes. We won't know until December the answer on that. BizTech continues to move along. Actually, the new name is the Hamilton Mill. Be expecting some public relations and the rollout of that name and press releases here in the next month. ODW has moved into the city building. They're a logistics company that was in BizTech, started there, and now they're in the city building, One Renaissance Center. They did use some on-the-job training money that we referred them to Ohio Means Jobs for, so we continue to move that along. At the counties, on the county level, one of the big emphasis right now for the county is the Butler County Airport. The county is doing a study and talking to the communities about the real economic impact of the airport. I would encourage you, if you have customers, if you know of people that use the airport, let us know, because we're trying to keep a list that we can submit to the county and say, yes, this is an important tool for our county. It's already here. The airport's not going anywhere, so we might as well put the money into it that we can get to keep it up to speed to serve the business community. Legalization of marijuana continues not to go anywhere this year, but you hear about it all the time. We'll keep you up to speed if something changes on that. The state did lower the upper level income tax rate, so with no increase in any of their taxes. So that went through during the last General Assembly. In addition, a few other things that are out there that are being discussed. Payday lending, that there was legislation that was passed a couple of years ago that prevented payday lenders from charging real high interest rates. Well, the Supreme Court just struck that down, and that might be coming back to the forefront. So stay tuned for that. Maybe you have customers, and maybe been in there yourself. I don't know. We'll be informing you on what's going on there. On the federal level, immigration reform is unlikely to go anywhere this year, especially before the November election. The biggest federal issue that's happened here recently was, I guess nationwide, was the election of Eric Cantor's opponent in Virginia, and what that's going to do to not only the Republican Party but immigration reform, because he was a stalwart of pushing immigration reform. I'm sure there's a lot of other things that I'm missing. If you have any questions, please get in touch with me. One thing that I'm looking here that probably I should mention, and that is the Brent Spence Bridge, which is a regional issue. The state did pass legislation that will allow tolling on Brent Spence Bridge. The governor signed it down in Cincinnati. I'm sure everybody travels one time or another on Brent Spence Bridge. But the next step is that Kentucky has to pass legislation in order to make that a reality. And that looks a little bit unlikely right now. So still, unless they pass it, there's no funding for the Brent Spence Bridge. And the bridge is not falling in, but it's functionally obsolete, they say. So I'm sorry to miss the meeting. I hope to be back next month, and I hope you're having a great meeting. Goodbye.